And in this video, I wanted to talk to you about 3 audiobook services that I have used, the 3 that I have used the most. There are a couple that are popular, but I have not used, like Scribd or Libro FM. And those are audiobook services that I know a lot of people really like. I don't have experience with them, so I will not be talking about them today. This is not a sponsored video at all. I just wanted to talk about my experience using Hoopla, Overdrive, and Audible, and kind of the pros and cons of each, what I like about each of them. So I really have become quite the audiobook listener over the years. It started a few years ago, or no, not more than a few years ago. Good gracious, it started about 10 years ago, that I would listen to CD audiobooks through the library, check them out at the library, and listen to audiobooks on my commute. I still remember some of those first ones. Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell, uh, Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day, the All Creatures Great and Small series, the Unfortunate series of Unfortunate Events books. Trying to think of any others that I listened to in that time period. Maybe some Harry Potter in there, but those are the main ones. Oh, and the Little House on the Prairie books, audiobooks. And so those were ones that I kind of fell in love with, this new experience of reading books. And to the people that say that they don't count as reading, when blind people listen to audiobooks, does that not count as reading? And also, I think it really comes from a position of great health all the time. I know in my chronic illness, the thought sometimes of picking up a physical book is so overwhelming. And I am so grateful on days that I feel unwell that I can just cozy up with an audiobook and knit while I listen. And so just, this is not for people who say that audiobooks don't count. When I get to a wrap up, do I have to feel like I didn't read it? No, I can feel absolutely like I read it. And you're hearing every single word that's in the book. And in addition to that, it takes longer to read an audiobook than it does to read a physical book. So it's just ludicrous that people say it doesn't count as the book. It does count. So moving on to the 3 services that I want to talk about. First is Audible. Audible is the only service out of these that I have paid for. This, Audible is a private company. So you pay, and typically it's $14.95 a month. But a little tip, what I did is, I think one time there was a book I really wanted, so I got a membership. And then cancel my membership. And then all of a sudden on Instagram, I have these ads popping up for like half off membership for 4 months. So I just snap up Audible memberships whenever they offer them as half off. But one thing that troubles me is I don't know if they'll be doing that as much. They've made these new membership tiers. So there's one that's called Audible Plus, which it's annoying to me that the bottommost tier is called Audible Plus. It should just be called Audible. And in that tier, you pay, I think it's $7.95 a month, and you just can take whatever books they have available. I thought the selection was super limited. It was only like very much pop fiction, things I'm not interested in. So I had like a 6-month, no, it wasn't a 6-month, I think like a 4-month half off membership deal for that. I was not happy with that. Like, I thought the selection was super limited, and I think it's really annoying that they changed it up. And then there's Audible Plus Premium, which is $14.95 a month, which I think just sounds like incredibly expensive. And so I've only done that full price maybe like 2 months. But you get 1 credit, and then you get access to all of the audiobooks that are available for the Audible Plus catalog. So I have used Audible for books I cannot find through Overdrive or Hoopla. That's the only reason I get on Audible. And so I've done, a smattering of months where I've subscribed to Audible, but it is really expensive. So I just too rich for my blood most of the time. So I want to talk about the pros and cons of each audiobook service. So the pros for Audible is, once you have an audiobook through Audible, you have it forever. So those ones that you think you're going to listen to over and over and over again, the Lord of the Rings, when they were doing a buy one, get one half off sale, I got the Lord of the Rings trilogy because I thought that will be something like legit that I really want. And particularly because I haven't seen any library offer those unabridged audiobooks. They offer like radio drama versions of them, but if you want the pure, unadulterated, unabridged audiobooks, I haven't seen them through my libraries at least. Then also, I like that you can download books in sections. If you have limited memory on your phone, you don't have to worry about that taking up too much memory because it usually lets you, I've seen like chunks of maybe 7 hours or so, you download an audiobook. And that's really a nice feature. You also can return books. There's a cap on how many you can return, but there's sometimes when I started listening to a book and kind of right away, I should have listened to the sample is what I should have done, but I knew, do not like this book, or even have gotten halfway through a book and realized, nope, not the book for me. I'm never going to listen to this again. And so you can return books. I did really go all out with returning books that I didn't like, that I knew I wasn't, going to finish. And so I did run out, but you do have, I think maybe as many as 10 returns in a year. So it doesn't have to be forever. I also like that they offer audio samples. You can click on an audiobook and listen to a sample to see if you're going to like that narrator. And I think that's really handy when you are looking at all these different versions of an audiobook and you say, oh, which one do I want? Just listen to the samples and see if that helps you. And also, another perk, which is on most audiobook services, but I should just say it, is it comes with a sleep timer. So sometimes at the end of the day, I am so wound up. And if I haven't done any physical reading like I like to at the end of the day, if I just haven't gotten around to it right before bed, sometimes I feel like I'm too tired to read. The sleep timer is really nice. I'll set it for 15 minutes is what I like to do. And just put it in, and then so it's not before, if you didn't have a sleep timer, you'd wake up and be like, how long has this audiobook been going? How much have I missed? But if you set it for a set amount of time, like I do 15 minutes, then I know the most I missed was 15 minutes, but usually it's more like 2 or 3 minutes towards the end that I had already fallen asleep. Now the cons. Audible audiobooks, a pet peeve that I have, when they say the chapters that they're divided into, it is not the same chapters as the physical book. So that's really frustrating to me because one way that I would really love to read a book is just to go back and forth, spend every free moment I have when I can't be reading a physical book, doing the audiobook, and then diving back into the physical book. Typically, Audible does not divide it into the same kinds of chapters that your physical book is divided into, and I don't know why they do that. It's very frustrating to me because it just makes it really hard. And then another con, and I said this before, is it's very expensive. Audible is expensive. And then another con is that you don't keep credits when your membership is done. If you have credits that you have received, you don't get to keep them when your membership is done. So I had to, when canceling my membership and I had some credits that had accrued, I had to just decide what books I wanted and check them out then so I didn't just lose out on credits altogether. I'm not sure if when you reactivate your membership, you get those credits back. I can't confirm that because I've never had leftover credits and just canceled my membership. So overall, I don't know if I think Audible is worth the cost. I wish you could just, you get a discount. If you're buying additional audiobooks, you get a discount. But there are just not enough audiobooks out there that aren't available through the library that it feels a necessary membership to me. Okay, then we move on to Overdrive. So a pro of Overdrive is it is available through your library. I think almost every library in the US has Overdrive services. So Overdrive is an app you get on your phone, and you put in your library card number and put in your PIN if you have a PIN, and then you can search and see what audiobooks are available through Overdrive. I find Overdrive very user-friendly. The chapter selections that they have listed in Overdrive are exactly the same chapters that are in the book. So when, in the audiobook, it tells you you've just gotten to chapter 12, you can be sure that it will be chapter 12 in the physical book. And it's also nice then, sometimes I like to bookmark in a physical book if I have it handy to see kind of the progress that I'm making through it. And then also the downloading selection for Overdrive is my favorite. You can download in sections. It gives you parts to a book. Each part to a book is roughly an hour. So again, if you have limited memory on your phone, I remember 2 phones back when I started the Wheel of Time series. It's 30 parts, something like that, if not more parts. And I remember being like, there's no way I can hold this on my phone. And finally I realized, oh, you can download just certain parts. So I like that to save memory. It does backfire if you are out and about and you get to the end of your downloaded parts, then it's like, no, I ran out of parts. I ran out of downloaded parts, and you have to decide, is it worth using up the data to download it? But overall, if you just come prepared when you're going on an outing, have plenty downloaded, you're good to go. Or you can just decide to download an entire audiobook and not have to worry about it. Then I also like that Overdrive also comes with audio samples. You can listen to the narrators to decide which one you like, or if there's not many available, decide, if it's worth your time or not to do the audiobook. Overdrive also comes with a sleep timer, and I really like that about it. Again, nice to wind down at the end of the day if that's where I'm listening to my audiobook. And then the cons of Overdrive, one is the wait list. Sometimes I waited as long as 6 months for a really popular audiobook. So that does get frustrating, waiting that long. You really want to, listen to a book. So you do have to be patient if you have a popular audiobook you're wanting to listen to. But it was worth the wait for me for The Other Bennett Sister. I waited for 6 months for The Other Bennett Sister, and then it just came kind of at the perfect time it happened to. Okay, I know a complaint that some people have with Overdrive is when all of your holds arrive at once. So, one feature that Overdrive has added, and this to me does make the waiting a lot easier, is that you can delay receiving an audiobook. So if your hold comes in, you can say, oh, you know what, wait, I'm not ready for it. I have too many other ones on the go. And you can say, wait for 7 days, wait for 14 days. You can wait up to 90 days. And so I really like that feature about it, that you can just delay getting an audiobook. I know that with a couple patrons this summer, we're hoping to read The Pillars of the Earth. And so I saw the audiobook was going to come in. I wanted to read it with them in summer, but I saw the audiobook was going to come in like April. I was like, ooh, too early. And so then I just delayed when it's going to get to me, but I'll still be first in line. So it's like you get to pick. Once you are first in line, you can delay it to a certain date and know that you will get the audiobook on that date. So that definitely has been like a level up with Overdrive, a nice way to kind of manage your holds more so you don't feel utterly overwhelmed. And then the last audiobook service is Hoopla. Hoopla is also through the library, so that is a plus of Hoopla. And also, you don't have a wait list with Hoopla. You can instantly pick out a book and say you want to check it out. Not all libraries have Hoopla. 2 out of the 3 library systems I've been a part of in recent years have done Hoopla. So the catch is, you say, well, if you can just check out audiobooks at once, what's the catch? You have a limited number of credits each month. So I know I've heard as many as 12 in a month is what some people get. I get 4 in a month. That's how many I get. I always think it doesn't sound like much, but then I'm always trying to keep up with my audiobooks. So I do think it really is enough. So you have those limited set of credits, and you can just do what you want with them throughout the course of the month. Each month you have a new amount of credits. The credits do not roll over. So that is kind of a con. You can't just rack up. So you have 25 credits waiting for you. You have to use them by the end of the month. So there have been some months where it's 10 p.m. on the last day of the month, and I still haven't decided how to use up those final credits. And New Year's Eve, I remember just agonizing over which one should I check out? I just don't know. And finally at 11 p.m., I figured out which ones I wanted. The leftover credits that I hadn't used in the month. The pros, let's see, any more pros? Okay, now then the cons. There are no audio samples through Hoopla. So what I just do is I go to Audible to listen to audio samples to see what a narrator is going to be like. So that is a frustrating aspect about Hoopla. They don't offer audio samples. Also with Hoopla, you can either stream your audiobook, just stream it through the internet, or download it, but you have to download the entire audiobook. So you have to be committed to using up that much space on your phone. You can use Hoopla. Actually, it's really easy to use Hoopla on your desktop. And I think you can adjust the speed of the audiobook too. So that is an option you could think about. But yeah, I don't like that it's, all or nothing. You either stream it or you have to download the entire audiobook. And if you're like me and you listen to Victorian novels sometimes, that's like, 30 hours. It's a lot of space taken up. And then sometimes I have heard from multiple people, hoopla can be really glitchy. It can just be fussy. It will just randomly shut off. And when you're driving, and that was what you were relying on, to keep you company during your drive, it's really frustrating just to have it turn off on you like that. So that can be frustrating. No chapters. It's just you are going with the audiobook and you have to figure out where you are in the physical book if you want to check that out. Also, it's annoying for buddy reading. If I'm buddy reading and we have, we're going to read 3 chapters a day, it's much easier in Overdrive to see, okay, I read this chapter, this chapter, this chapter. Hoopla doesn't tell you, you hear it when the narrator reads it, whatever chapter, but you can't see on the screen. It doesn't tell you. And then, like I said, for a con, the credits don't roll over. So I am always scrambling at the end of the month with the credits that I have left to try to figure out what I need to check out. So those are kind of the pros and cons that I found with the services of Audible, Overdrive, and Hoopla. I think overall, my favorite would actually have to be Overdrive because it is through the library. I can see the chapter headings. I can download it in parts, and I can listen to audio samples. And I just think overall, Overdrive, just the user face of it, I like a lot more. I still use these other services, but Overdrive, I would have to say, is my favorite. I'm willing to wait in line for audiobooks because there's always other ones that are available sooner. And yeah, so it works. Alrighty, thank you for watching as always, and I will be back with another video soon.